All right, we'll go ahead and get started. For those of you that have attended in person, thank y'all for coming. My name is Brenda Hawkins. This is Ryan Bartholomew, and I'm with Texas Hawkeyes Property Management. Ryan is with the development company, and so this is our first official Shenandoah Ridge membership meeting. So thank y'all for coming. Like I said earlier, we'll keep it real short and sweet and casual. We'll answer any questions. For those who are on Zoom, please either submit your questions on chat or raise your hand and I'll address you, or Ryan will address you and answer any questions. With that, we're going to get started. Each of you that have attended in person should have gotten an agenda. This is the formal call to order. And from that point, we'll move into the developer's report, and I'll turn it over to Ryan, and he can explain and tell you some history about the subdivision and where it's going and what's in store for everyone.
Okay, again, my name is Ryan Bartholomew. I've been with Shenandoah for about 16 years now. And recently we've moved from focusing on oil and gas as a company to real estate, learning a lot, and started Shenandoah Ridge. Had a hard time getting through phase one, had to sell the raw land to Beaton Bow, who did all the development on phase one, provided the finished lots, then built the homes. So everything in phase one, 123 lots, was done by Beaton Bow. And then starting in phase two, this is a little bit older overall plat that we were showing. Yeah, so this one shows just phase two by itself is 44 lots. This is where we started providing the finished lots to the home builders. The largest home builder in this area is Silverleaf. There's some other ones as well. We've been pleased with them and continued working with them quite a bit. Phase three, we've got 83 lots, and the retention basin you see over to the right is going to be some green space. So eventually we'll get some temporary sprinklers and seeding done and some landscaping in that area. But Silverleaf's the major builder in this phase as well. These have lots have all been sold. They've been aggressively building in this phase. Section 4 is what we're working on. And we will have two builders predominantly going forward, continuing to work with Silverleaf with about half the lots. And then a new builder we're getting ready to work with is VR Horton. So we will be selling about half the lots to both of those builders. We think the accountability of two large builders will help the development progress more rapidly than it has so far. And we look forward to and are excited to work with them. This one's 112 lots in this section or phase. We can go back to like kind of the overall big picture slide that showed the first 6 phases. Couple things that have changed. We did sell a lot to a church that's about 7 acres in this area, the Mid-Cities Church. So they will plant or build a church plant there that's similar to their Neely campus. And I'm sure that's several years out, but excited for them. That's the church I go to, so excited to see what they do with that. Then east of Coral Drive, there's a 27-acre lot that was sold to Elevate Church, and that's going to be their main campus eventually. And they plan also to build a school on that campus. So excited about some of the things that are nearby.
How many acres did you say? How many acres?
27.
27 acres.
Yeah, we kept asking if they wanted that much land, but they assured us they did. So they have lots of plans. But anyways, so 7 and then 27. There's also developments further to the east. That's about 71 acres that will continue this Shenandoah Ridge development. Through the first 4 phases, that's 361 lots. Oh, yes, this is the rest of it. I counted 349. So this is that Elevate Church tract now. And then this is that Coral Drive that you saw in the first 6 phases. And then everything east of that is what is newly being designed.
And this is Occidental on the bottom.
Occidental runs down the south.
Yeah.
And then 349 will be over here. So, but this is the plan to continue developing and working with those 2 primary home builders, Silverleaf and DR Horton. We plan on having a couple signs. We're pretty early in the process of everything. Been building up some of the cash reserves for the HOA to be able to maintain land. Haven't assigned any land over yet. And then we'll have hopefully some nice entry signs sooner rather than later on both kind of the phase 1 and maybe phase 4 somewhere over there. But those are some of our current plans, and hopefully can progress more quickly, build up a larger cash reserve, and have more options with the HOA.
Any questions regarding plan so far?
Sure.
When you said you're gonna put a sign, is that on Badlands? That entrance there?
I think Badland Boulevard makes sense because this is part of the retention basins for
Yes.
phase 1. So
Yeah,
I would-
was that first.
is all of this, right?
Yes.
So I think something right here makes a lot of sense.
This right- There's a better
Yeah,
view
better
of
view, yeah.
Badlands. Yeah, right there.
So either right when you turn in or back here, something like that.
Are we gonna, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Are we gonna be able to have some kind of fencing? Because we have a lot of, especially the Desert Spire Road has a lot of issue from the tumbleweeds blowing from that big oil field across
Yeah.
the street, the Occidental.
Okay.
Is there anything like any kind of fencing in the future that could help keep our yards clean, so we're not having to haul off trailer loads?
I don't know that was planned, but I appreciate you bringing that up, because if I'm not aware of it, I didn't know that was an issue.
Yeah, especially during the windy and full, start getting them and the wind
Yeah.
comes and it becomes a.
Yeah, don't get us.
An issue,
It's
yeah.
our fence and 10 feet out.
Wow.
We have to haul it off with the trailer.
So if you, so right here's where you would
Mhm.
want the fence?
Yes.
Okay.
Because where the houses are.
Yeah.
To the north and the west, they
They'll
have
have
fences.
fences, sure.
It's just us because we're open to that, the drainage.
I see. That's very helpful.
All right. Well.
Good evening.
Sure.
Are there any plans for playgrounds for kids in the neighborhood?
They're not refined and specific yet. I do know that retention basin in the phase 3 is going to be our first green space. So that would be probably our most ideal location to do something like that.
Is that the circle?
Yes. Yeah, so everything in here
Okay.
is that retention. It's a couple basins and it serves multiple phases. But whether there's walking trails or what, that is definitely an area to focus on, and would be where we would recommend investing and doing something like that.
Would eventually, sorry to ask a lot.
You're great.
Would eventually, our neighborhoods connect to
Occidental.
Occidental, so we can just go across instead of having to get on 349?
Yes, so
Coral.
Drive will be one of the first connections, and then should be another one. When we do phase 6, we will have to expand Occidental, and the city will require the church mid-cities, to help expand for their share of it.
So
This is
Buffalo
not
Gap.
our land, but this is Occidental running down here on the south end.
So Buffalo Gap.
Yes, this should
And
also
Coral.
connect.
Okay.
So there's a couple locations.
Where that area you said is not the land.
This is not ours, so we sold this to a Renew Life Church many years ago, and then they flipped it. So we're not sure what will happen with this.
Well, we've noticed in the last few weeks, there's numbers.
permit signs or something.
Yes.
I haven't kept up with what's being permitted or approved there, but I know they've tried apartment buildings a couple times. And I thought they've been declined.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, cause I work with Exxon
Okay.
and when I pull up the schematics, there's pipelines all over
There is, yes. Yeah, you can't build a structure on that, but
Right.
a parking lot, something like that.
Well, that's what
works.
we thought because we seen signs and it said something about a church going right there.
If you've seen signs about a church, it's probably the Mid-Cities one would be my guess. I could be wrong. But this should not be owned by a church anymore.
Now, there are signs for Elevate along
Elevate would be
Occidental.
further down, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, that's good to be further.
Yeah, it's further east, but there are signs for Elevate already along Occidental.
I haven't been out in a few weeks, but, so I hadn't noticed that.
And I have a question, and this may or may not be relatable, but, you had talked about, creating signage for the development.
Sure.
Why, I guess I wanna ask why the delay of why this hasn't been done, because we've been in development for a while, but yet Mockingbird, who started afterwards, already got a lovely entry.
Oh, they got a beautiful sign.
I
Yeah,
do.
like what's the cause for that?
Part of it is, that Beat and Boat does move very quickly and they have done this before and don't have as steep a learning curve as we do. We do want to install a sign that, is good the first time.
Mhm.
There's where I live, we've had to replace the sign several times. So trying to do it right the first time, is part of the reason for the delay. Part, we've asked for input from the builders as well and just haven't gotten much feedback. So between that and just being busy, we haven't gotten to it yet, but realize that that's important and definitely something we want to prioritize.
To build on Ryan's statement, Beaton Bow's process is marketing. And so they come up with a schematic and logo and branding way before they ever get their land designed. And so it's a psychological thing about branding the neighborhood and that's their marketing path. Not that it's any different than what y'all are seeing as far as your development designs such as that, but y'all are, take it as a positive because y'all are more of a private. People don't know where Shenandoah is, and that's a good thing. So privacy is good on some elements. There's good and there's bad, because it's like, where do y'all live? Well, you have to,
You're like,
I just drove right past it.
yeah,
I understand that, but sometimes if people drive right past you, that's a good thing. So, I commend Ryan and his team because they do want to get it right the first time. And because once you get it branded, it's branded and it's hard to change that path. So, this neighborhood is looking good and y'all are differentiated from the typical smaller product, Beaton Bowl product. So
we just don't have that name posted.
you haven't got that name yet. So it's coming and it's gonna look good when it gets there. So.
We're a pretty small team. There's 10 of us. I don't know how many are on Beat Boat team, but it's a pretty large, efficient team. So
Yeah, the last time I heard, they employed over 2,300 people.
Wow.
So
Is Hawkeyes just the HOA for us, or are you other Beat and Bow properties?
we manage other properties. We have 30 neighborhoods that
Oh,
we
okay,
manage,
okay.
so. Any other questions related to the developments?
How big is the subdivision gonna be overall?
like total number of lots or,
Yes.
when I
Right
was
there?
adding it up earlier, about 871. Total lots is what I'm coming up with. I know the eastern development's pretty early on, so that can always be adjusted some, but probably in that ballpark.
Would that still make us like a close knit community or would that be one of the, still small? Okay.
In comparison, Lone Star Trails 2, which is everything east of Fairgrounds, is 1,100 lots.
Okay.
Mockingbird's is gonna be 2,200 lots, roughly. I think Lone Star 1 ended up being 980 lots, So
We're still under.
Will be the baby.
you're special.
Yeah.
Babies are already special.
Yeah.
The initial one that both, I guess, the city will at some point require, but what our engineers talked about is this retention basin as part of phase 3. So we've finished up effectively phase 3, so I think we can focus on that here soon.
This is to give you perspective, Black Butte, and then this is Bahada, I believe, at the north. The North Street is Bahada in phase 3. So that tells you where you are. Any other questions on development? All right, we'll move into your financials because everybody's like, where's our money going? So your money, in your handout, you'll have the balance sheet as well as what's typically called the income statement. The balance sheet is presented in accrual basis. And so you can see when y'all started in 23, by the end of 2023, $6,800 had been collected. In 24, at year end, your subdivision had almost $23,000 in the bank account, had almost 5,000 outstanding in dues receivable. And then as of September 15th, your association, like Ryan said, they're trying to build up the cash to be able to maintain and do things for you. You have 39,772.74. But unfortunately, we have 11,000, almost 11,500 outstanding. People have not paid their dues. That's our job, to collect, create notices, invoices, and send out that, and then do collections and liens and such as that. You have no prepayments. As of September 15th, you did not have any accounts payable. And so it's very clean cut because y'all are still in that declarant development period. So the next report is what's called Statement of Revenues and Expenditures. This is presented in cash basis. This is what's actually been brought in and what has actually gone out. Again, very simple. In 24, we collected 33,355, and we paid out 12,459. So 20,896 stayed in the bank. For 2025 so far, we've collected 39,603. We've paid out 14,398. And so we've put 25,205 in the bank. So that's why you have almost 40,000 left in your bank account. Any questions on the numbers?
Those numbers there, does that go for the maintenance of like the sidewalks and all of that?
Currently, the developer is taking care of that cost.
But eventually it will go?
It will eventually be part of your cost, yes. The insurance, a lot of people are like, well, why do we have insurance? Well, because of those drainage basins and because of the sidewalks. If somebody is playing or gets hurt inside the subdivision, they could potentially sue the HOA, and you have a proportionate share of the HOA. So that's why insurance, it covers all that. Any other questions? I told you this one's going to be easy. All right.
Anything in the chat? Good.
So for 2026, looking forward, I'm assuming the developer's gonna leave it at the same 240 a year. But we have to make the announcement because of the outstanding dues of people not paying their fees. We've got to implement a schedule of fees, and when they're late, this is what we're gonna be charging. We have to announce this every year. So their first initial late payment, if they're not paid by March 1st, they're gonna get hit with a $50 late fee, and then 15, 20, 25 until they get it paid. And it does accrue at 10% annual interest rate. Resale certificates, that's when they transfer when an individual in the association sells their property, Texas Real Estate Commission requires a resale certificate, and that means we, as your association management team, has to inspect the property, not on the inside, just on the outside, to make sure that it is in compliance with the restrictions. They don't have purple dots or, something that they're not supposed to have on their house, as well as we have to affirm that their account is in good standing. And then we have to provide a copy of the bylaws, restrictions, insurance coverage and all that. So that's where that $300 transfer fee comes into play. As well as for when those that do not pay and we have to turn it over to a collection agency or file a lien, we charge a $250 attorney fee for those documentations. Pretty clean cut, but are there any questions regarding that? We hope to never use the majority of those. We will send out invoices for the 240, but we don't really like to send for the others, but we do. On our website, we have a summary, and I think we've got printouts here. We have a summary of the restrictions. So, the full set of restrictions are always available on our website, as well as your HOA portal. If you haven't had an opportunity to log in and establish your HOA portal access, we highly recommend it, because we will make announcements, or you can see your restrictions or rules and activity at any time, 24/7, make payments online. But we do have a restriction summary. This is not comprehensive. Again, it's just a easy what not to do in your neighborhood. We have those printed out. One of the biggest things are the weeds and the parking on the yards. That's what and the trailers parked in front as well as in the driveway. Those are the biggest violations we see. Or not having a yard. There's a couple of homes that still do not have yards put in, so. Any questions? Comments?
As far as, oh, that's, yeah, sold a couple of lots to Silverleaf. Like in front of our house is all the lots are vacant. There's ugly weeds. Is there any, are they in charge of like?
I spoke,
spraying?
I stopped at the Silverleaf model home just today, and she said that they're getting a crew to address their vacant lots. So yes, if it's builder owned, then the builders are responsible for it. If it's still developer owned, then the developer will address those.
And the roads.
The entry roads, the developer has been doing those.
Especially finding it on 349 in a car, I mean, you can really tell them blind.
Along that commercial, along the 349.
See, I don't know. Right, when you pass, Badlands, speed limit goes to 65.
Hmm.
And that's pretty intense for people coming out of the subdivision on Second.
Yeah. So getting Buffalo Gap and Corral Avenue will be very advantageous to get an alternate route out, especially now that Occidental goes east and around.
Well, the only other question or concern is that when you're on Occidental looking to come in or off 349, is you had that little,
Yeah.
and I know that's been a complaint thrown on the See Click Fix website as well, because coming in and out of there, everybody slows down and
It's like, oh,
it's not an easy transition on
Yeah,
349 from us now.
yeah. It's like, oh, am I gonna lose my shocks on this one?
Yeah, or God forbid you drive a lower vehicle.
It's like scrape, yeah. So those can be addressed. Anything else? I have nothing from,
Where sorry,
go ahead.
on Badlands and Desert Spire. Where the drainage is, there's a stop sign
Yes,
right there at the corner. The walkway, we have the sidewalk that comes down Badlands and then it goes to like it smooths out like wheelchairs. They've
an
had
ADA ramp.
backhoes go in there and clean it, but they've cracked the sidewalk.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
how does that? And there's a bunch of weeds all over on that side of the sidewalk.
Bahana Street and Desert Spire, you said?
Yeah, yes, sir, Badlands and Desert Fire, right there,
Oh, okay.
that stop sign. They'll go in and they'll dress it up, make it look nice, and then
Yeah.
they get rid of whatever gets thrown there, but whenever they're loading the trucks, they load it right there at that little access port for the wheelchairs and they throw them the sidewalk.
Yeah. Good to know. Anything else?
I work for the post office, so at least the boxes that are right there on Desert Spire, anytime I've seen overgrowth, sometimes I can let the office know. And they might have somebody come out and clean it, but otherwise,
You
could
could-
I,
You can contact us,
yeah, cause there's been some
Pick up-
growth that
yeah.
would go in front of the boxes too, but I know.
pick up our card and we'll spray it.
Okay.
Glad to know that you're at the USPS office. I've got some questions for you.
I try not to advertise.
Do y'all check to make sure that they read English? That they can read? No.
I train a few, you'd be surprised.
The reason I jokingly ask, just a FYI, we had sent out invoices. And all of a sudden, back in our office, we received a rubber band packet. Going through it, it was mail that had been delivered for a specific property here in Midland,
Mhm.
and it had 2 years' worth of envelopes.
Oh,
Wow.
And we know that the house was occupied, but it's like, why wasn't he getting his mail? He never got his key to his cluster box, and so mail kept getting put in,
Yeah.
and then they sent it all back once the box got full. So that's the limit. So 2 years worth of mail is about that thick.
I'm surprised it was only that thick.
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
One for us.
That was probably just for.
Well, that was just for our letters. That was our letters.
Oh, gotcha.
That we had mailed for 2 years because.
Hmm.
And then said, you never made a payment. And he's like, I never got my mail. And I'm like, whose fault is that? You
Yeah,
know?
well, typically that would be their responsibility with the keys.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides from having cluster boxes. No one wants to go to the cluster box to get their mail.
What's a cluster box?
It's a cluster is what it is.
I don't wanna do it.
So. Any other questions? Comments, suggestions? What do y'all want to see in your neighborhood?
Behind Arcos, all that, land behind, is that owned by the development right now, or?
Mhm.
Yes,
I have real bad weeds, I'm talking about taller than my fence leading up.
those are the ones I was telling you about earlier.
Along the fence line of our
Right,
house.
just on my fence line, because they've already built houses next
Okay.
to us, and those are clean, but they're literally overseeing my fence.
And do y'all give any curfews to the people that are building the houses? Cause we did have somebody with their excavator at 5 in the morning on Sundays.
Sunday, Saturday, that's.
So let us know about things like that. Send that to us and we can communicate with the builders and say, hey, your project coordinators need to be a little bit more considerate. So, yeah, we want communication, so. Cause this is y'all's neighborhood. So,
Ah, I thought of a question. When it comes to submitting a request
Mhm.
for some work or whatever online, is there a general turnaround time that you try to address the issues or the requests for the homeowners?
well, now that we use a platform called Buildium,
Okay,
and so if it's submitted, if the request comes through Buildium, I have 5 team members,
Mhm.
and one of us is supposed to address that within three business days,
okay,
usually faster than that.
okay.
If it requires a contractor, if we've got to outsource the remedy, then that will take longer to correct it, but we will be in communications with you.
Okay, cause there's been just a couple of times where it wasn't anything that required a whole lot of review. And it would take like over a week before I heard anything, and I'm like, this is
I've
something
hired-
simple, like,
I've had,
we had to call.
yes,
And they're like, oh, no, you can do it, well, it wasn't approved. So,
We've hired a new individual for the front communication. We jokingly call her the Director of First Impressions. And she has taken that title to heart, and so we're really proud of her being aggressive and answering that.
Okay.
So we encourage y'all to log on and put it through the portal. And that way we can keep track of it as well.
Not anybody else's does it, but on our street, we're having a lot of issues with animals getting out, a lot of stray dogs running around, and I mean, nobody seems to really be addressing it. I mean, as far as people post in our Facebook group, but I don't know if the homeowners or the owners of the animals are in there, they just don't see it or know, and a lot of people, we don't even know who they belong to, or if they're just dumped in the neighborhood.
Unfortunately, a lot of them get dumped. I'm glad to hear that you do have a Facebook community. That's good.
Just for us, yeah.
That's good. That's good. And do y'all have someone that's managing it and just letting Shenandoah residents in, or do you know?
I don't think so, I think they're just letting anybody that's like.
Okay.
Well, because the idea was to try and join with Lone Star, but they didn't want us.
Okay. We're like the
Redheaded
black-
stepchild.
Black sheep.
Not a bad thing. Hmm. Well, you can just make your own.
That's okay, because we're a special development.
You're special.
We're the nameless.
There you go. I have no questions online, so with that, we can call this meeting to close. Thank y'all for coming out.
How often would you anticipate on having the next meetings or?
Membership meetings are required once a year,
Okay.
once a year.
Wow.
At least to present now that we're past COVID threw everything in a tizzy, and we couldn't meet, we had to do everything online, but we will present your financials and a developer report at least once a year. So, all right.
Very good.
Thank y'all again for coming.
Appreciate it.
Oh, wait, we got a question.
Oh.
Let's see. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate you coming and attending. So that was the only comment. All right. That was easy. Thank y'all for coming and attending.